So they're talking about Dereck Chisora fighting Joseph Parker again. Remember, these guys were supposed to fight a while ago, but Dereck Chisora ended up fighting Usyk instead. And obviously, Parker and his team weren't happy about that at the time, but it was more money for Dereck Chisora. He ended up losing that fight, and the Joseph Parker fight is still there for him, which really vindicates Chisora's original decision, doesn't it? Because there was no point in fighting Joseph Parker, then losing, and then not getting the opportunity to fight Usyk. Better you fight Usyk, secure the bag, and then Joseph Parker's still going to be there. So Chisora was definitely vindicated in this particular instance. He did the right thing. And it's incredible, isn't it? Dereck Chisora has lost so many times. I want to see if it has his record here. Does he have like 9 losses or something, Dereck Chisora, at this point? But because he's such a fan favorite, because whenever he's in there against an opponent that he feels threatened by to some degree, he comes to fight every time, Dereck Chisora. When he's in there against someone who he doesn't really feel threatened by, like an Ajit Kabayel or some journeyman, you're not really going to get much out of him. But when he's in there against a Dillian Whyte, a Takam, and so on, you get the best Dereck Chisora can produce on the night. You get a performance which, isn't always a guy that has trained the hardest, but you certainly get a performance from a guy who is, ready for a battle. Somebody who is coming to swing it out and go out on his shield. That's what you get from Dereck Chisora every time he steps in there with somebody legit. And hopefully, if this fight gets made, we get the same thing this time from Dereck Chisora as well. Him putting the pressure on Joseph Parker. Now, I've seen a lot of people very disappointed in Joseph Parker's recent performance against Junior Farr. They're saying based on that, they would pick Chisora over him. But I don't really see how the performance against Farr equates to Chisora. I don't see that. They're totally different styles, and styles make fights. Joseph Parker on the front foot found it difficult to land clean shots against Junior Farr. He was the aggressor throughout, but Junior Farr was able to spoil, use his jab, move around, and just make it a very messy and difficult fight for Joseph Parker, an awkward fight. Dereck Chisora will be far more accommodating for Joseph Parker. Now, Joseph Parker in the past has fought pressure fighters like Carlos Takam and Andy Ruiz, most notably. And both of those fights were very, very close. So if you were talking about those fights and referencing those as a reason that you believe Dereck Chisora gives Parker problems or beats him, then I can understand that. But based upon the Junior Farr fight, I don't see any correlation. Junior Farr doesn't fight anything like Dereck Chisora. So, look, it's a fight I like. Parker's kind of been in the wilderness for a while ever since that loss to Dillian Whyte. So coming back into the fold against Dereck Chisora, yeah, I'll watch it. As long as David Haye can get Dereck Chisora motivated again, just like he was against Alexander Usyk. And from a technical point of view, Dereck Chisora didn't fight his best fight against Alexander Usyk, but I guess they were just going for sheer volume and strength and power and work rate and pressure. They weren't really thinking about trying to be too technical, because that would give Alexander Usyk too much time and space. Against Joseph Parker, is that the right strategy? To just go all out like he tried to do against Alexander Usyk? Or should he be a little bit more technical? Because if you look at Andy Ruiz and Carlos Takam, they were more technical than Dereck Chisora was against Usyk. Yeah, Andy Ruiz, he didn't just go flailing punches from the first bell against Joseph Parker. No, he fought his usual fight where he's patient. He stalks you on the front foot. He waits for you to throw, and then he explodes with the fast counters. And with Carlos Takam, he kind of boxed his way into the fight against Joseph Parker. Then he started applying pressure. And as I say, it wasn't reckless from Carlos Takam. It was smart pressure. Is Dereck Chisora going to fight that way, or is he going to be reckless? If Dereck Chisora is reckless, I think that really helps Joseph Parker. I know people say that, and myself included, Joseph Parker isn't the meanest guy. And if you can rough him up, that gives you a good chance of beating him. But I don't know, with Dereck Chisora, the way he fought against Alexander Usyk, he left so many opportunities to counter him. Usyk, not being a natural heavyweight, not being a particularly big puncher, and being a stylist, a mover, a guy who doesn't really fight on the inside that much. He has done it in the past. I remember when he fought Tabiso Machunu, he actually beat him up on the inside, and that was against a much shorter fighter. That was an impressive performance by Usyk. But generally speaking, he doesn't really apply. He does apply pressure, but Usyk isn't the guy to really get down in the trenches most of the time. You know, when he has to, he'll do it. But he prefers to actually stick and move, particularly against a big guy like Dereck Chisora coming forward at him and attacking. Joseph Parker, he likes to do the same thing as well, to move around and what have you. But I just get the feeling that Parker has a bit more power than Usyk. And if he catches Chisora coming in, Chisora's maybe got his chin in the wrong place, I could see Parker hurting him. I mean, Dereck Chisora's been hurt by lesser people than Joseph Parker. He got hurt by Edmund Gerber. He got hurt by Parler as well back in the days. And these guys, do they hit any harder than Joseph Parker? I mean, maybe, maybe not. I think they're in the same ballpark, if nothing else. So Joseph Parker with his quick hands, if Chisora's too reckless, I think it could be a problem for Ward Chisora. If he fights a little bit more disciplined fight, obviously applying plenty of pressure, but not just all-out recklessness like we saw against Usyk. Maybe something similar to how he fought against Dillian Whyte up until the point deduction, because that really made him lose his head and he ran into that big left hook. But up until that point, Chisora was applying a lot of pressure to Dillian Whyte, but it wasn't too reckless. There wasn't too many wild swings and stuff that night in the Dillian Whyte rematch I'm talking about. So if he can fight like that against Joseph Parker, then yeah, maybe he's got a legit shot against Parker. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. The potential matchup between Joseph Parker and Dereck Chisora. Will it happen? And if so, how does it go? Come and join me on Patreon and access my weekly no-holds-barred, censorship-free podcast where we lift the lid on a wide range of controversial topics. It's not mainstream friendly, it's not politically correct, but that's the whole point. We dare to stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. Just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called Hatman Hot Topics. You'll gain access to a minimum of 2 hours of exclusive content every single week, including podcasts, videos, interviews, live stream Q&A sessions, as well as my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. Not to mention a vast back catalog of hundreds of hours of previous episodes. You can listen via the Patreon app with the option to download in high quality MP3. We've also got a Discord server where you can come and chat and hang out with myself and other members. There's no contract, no commitment, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.